Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Rez. In this video, I'm going to be going over the long-awaited build, what you guys have all been asking for, and that is the build that I'm running to take down the true trial bosses instantly. And this is also going to be able to let you do things like takedowns and even the raid boss in the game as it is. But this is going to be that video, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, before we jump into it, I will say this build is in my Discord channel if you want to download it. The link to the Discord is in the description. If you download the build, enjoy the video, find it helpful in any way, consider subscribing and dropping a like. I'm on the road to 10,000 subs. I'm right around the corner, and I would love to have you on this journey. I truly appreciate it. But if you've been watching my True Trials videos, you might have seen something like this, or like this, and you might have been like, Russ, what are you using to do this? And again, that is what this video is all about. I've already made two videos kind of going over what I was going for in those builds, but this is going to be the in-depth guide talking about both play styles, and again, the save file will be in my Discord. So starting off, before I get into anything, I'm just going to talk about the whole, I guess, two playstyle things on how you're killing the boss. So the first way is going to be with the Remnant Orb. The Remnant Orb, if you don't know, is the orb that spawns after Amara kills an enemy. This is going to seek out to another target, and it's going to have the overkill damage of what you've already done on a previous target. This is insane compared with some of the gear that you can run, and you can make this just do an absurd amount of damage. It can reach damage cap. I mean, as you've seen, it one-shots the bosses in the True Trials event. So the way you're going to make this do a lot of damage is if you have something like a Phase Zerker, which is going to be really good because you're going to be getting a kill with your phase cast, which is going to do an insane amount of damage. Then that overkill damage on whatever smaller enemy you hit is going to then transfer into the orb. Then we'll go out and kill the enemy. Now, where we're going to be increasing our phase cast damage is something like the Guardian Angel. With a 390 anoint, you're going to do even more damage with that phase cast. But then if you don't know how the Guardian Angel works, weapon damage is increased based on distance. It says weapon damage, but it's every single bit of damage. It works with axial damage, grenade damage, everything. So this is also going to further increase that phase cast damage to make that Remnant Orb do an insane amount of damage to the target. Now, another way we're going to further increase that phase cast damage is with our Revolter Shield right here. On axial start, activate any effects that trigger on shield breaker field. So if you don't know the way this shield works, is when it's depleted, you're going to become shocked and reach 15 seconds, giving you more damage and more fire rate. This more damage is also more axial damage, so that is also further going to increase the amount of damage that phase cast does. So like I was saying, when you have all this stacked up on a smaller enemy, you're going to have a ton of overkill damage going into that Remnant Orb, which is going to make it go to damage cap and just insta kill anything. And it's not even done there. You also have things like Axial M, which will help a little bit. It's not like an insane amount, but you know, the anoint will help with this as well. So when you're running the Remnant Orb build, make sure you have Revolter and Phase Zerker equipped. That's the main things. I have Soldier Deathless on right now just to help out with ad clear and the speed running of the build, but you can also run a different artifact if you want to. The artifact's not doing literally anything for the bossing aspect of the playstyle, but that is for the first one. The next one is going to be with the Stinger, the Unleash the Dragon, and whatever class on you want to run. I put the Muse on. If you don't have the Muse, you don't have to run it. I just like to increase melee damage with Illuminated Fist. But if you have something like a Breaker, this will also work. And even if you have something like a Phase Circle with points and anima, it will buff your dot damage, which is going to be the main theme of the Unleash the Dragon. So whatever class mod you have, you can run it. Trust me, you don't need a specific class mod for this, but I'm going to be running the Muse just to swap it out. Now, if you don't know the way this is going to work, the Stinger is a shield that releases a melee nova whenever the shield is depleted. Kind of like the other one, when your shield depletes, you get shock bust. With this one depletes, you release a melee nova. Again, we're going to have the same exact anointing. Axial start, any effect that triggers on shield breaker field, which is really good. And the way the Unleash the Dragon works is whenever you melee an enemy, you're going to apply a dot to them. This dot can do an insane amount of damage with everything paired together. So if you understand what's going on, this melee nova is gonna apply this dot to everyone around, but the main thing is obviously we're trying to apply it to the boss, but we're going to easily apply this dot with our axial, because on axial start we trigger on shield breaker fill. The melee nova is going to come out, do a lot of damage. Then that dot from that melee nova is going to just be absurd, and you're going to melt enemies. Again, the way we can further increase this damage is with the 300/90 Guardian Angel. This will also increase that dot damage, and when you're further away from the enemy, the dot will do increased damage as well. So just like the other way, whenever you're doing boss damage, just make sure you're having Guardian Angel out. This weapon is pretty bad on its own. As you can see, like, it doesn't do much at all, but if you have it equipped, you're going to be buffing literally everything that's going on in the background to the Remnant Orb style or the Unleash the Dragon style. Either way will work fine, but Obviously on flesh targets, Unleash the Dragon is going to be doing the most because you can just insta kill them since it's a incinerate based build. Then with the Remnant Orb, you're going to have access to all 4 elements. So if you're going to get something like a Corrosive Boss like the Trial of Discipline this week, you're going to be able to just insta kill them with that Corrosive Remnant Orb. And just, it's insane. I hope I explained this well enough. If you have any more questions, just drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer it. But just again, as like a TLDR for the Unleash the Dragon build, make sure you have these equipped. Class mod doesn't matter whatsoever. Just run whatever, you know, you kind of have that will buff melee damage or dot damage. And just run up. You can phase cast enemy, which will apply this on them. You can actually use your phase grasp now, which will instantly apply this on them as well. And that's pretty much it for that. It's very simple. The melee dot will kill them. Then if you're using the other one, make sure you have phase zerker, revolter, and whatever artifact you have on equip. These 2 up here is going to make your phase cast do a ton of damage, which is going to stack into that Remnant Orb, which will go out and kill an enemy. Now, another thing to note really quick as well with this, if you actually use something like Guardian Rank and your Remnant Orb decides to do its shenanigans where it actually doesn't go hit the boss, if you time it perfectly, when that Remnant Orb hits another enemy, you can actually run up and punch the boss, because even though Groundbreaker is only doing 10% of all non-melee damage, the amount of damage that Remnant Orb is going to do, that 10% doesn't even matter. You're still going to insta-kill, one-shot the boss. So with that alone, that should probably tell you the amount of damage that you're actually doing with that Remnant Orb. Because if it literally 9% of that damage is getting reduced, and you can still one-shot a raid boss with the melee, it's insane. And I talk about the grenades again. I kind of already went over the axe skill element thing, but I have all 5 It's Piss with every single different axe skill element in. It's Piss is also really good because you can just apply 20% debuff to an enemy. Just if you're running the dot build, make sure you apply it before, because if you don't, the dot is going to go away, because the way the It's Piss work, it removes status effects. So again, just make sure you throw it before you actually start doing boss damage. Now for other weapons, this is just generally for just getting through areas faster. I have a Plasma Coil. Plasma Coil is one of the best SMGs in the game. It just insta kills pretty much anything you shoot at, with the URAD on as well. And then also Snowdrift Deathless to get through the areas faster. Snowdrift, again, you could just slide around the map really fast. Deathless is proccing URAD, which is really nice, and you're going to be able to just insta-kill everything, especially with Taz Devon. We've already went over the Guardian Angel enough. Zets of Eruption, if you don't know the way this works, whenever you overheat this weapon, it's going to apply a debuff to an enemy. It's going to shoot out rockets, which you would not see on the test dummy, but when it overheats, when it does this animation, it will actually release rockets out to apply a debuff to all the enemies. And if you cancel it, like I just said, you can always swap back to it and just keep applying debuffs whenever you need them on an enemy. But trust me, with this build, you won't ever need that, but I'm including that, you know, just in case you want it. Now, the EMP5, again, this is just to help out movement speed. This paired with a Snowdrift is just insane. You can get through areas fast. You can, you know, slide, get to the next area, pop a phase grass, you know, swap the Plasma Coil, and just insta kill the whole entire room of ads. It is ridiculous how good this build is for ad clearing and bossing, and trust me, you are going to love it. Again, to the skills, this is somewhat just a generic Amara build. Like, there's some differences, but in Mystical Assault, you pretty much always are taking this for Amara. 5 and do harm to buff your axe skill damage. Again, with Phase Zerker, this is gonna ramp up that axe skill damage to make your face cast be able to spawn an insane Remnant Orb. Really, really good. 3 points of fast hands just to get, you know, more reload speed, weapon slot speed, most speed. Really, really good. Violent Tap should help keep stacks up. 3 points in Transcend, so we can get more axe and critical hit damage whenever you use our axe skill. Again, really good, especially for ad clearing if you're critting with the Plasma Coil. 2 in Alacrity just to get some reload speed with the amount of rush stacks we have. 1 Descendant to buff Steel and Savant. This is going to be really, really good for ad clear as well, because when you phase grass, you're going to lock everything up in the air, just insta kill everything, which is nice. 3 points of Lay Bear, so get 25% more increased damage whenever your axe skill hits an enemy. This is also really good for bossing. Pairing this with the It's Pitch, you're going to have a bunch of debuffs on an enemy. So whenever you do fight a boss on whichever playstyle you choose to do, the Remnant Orb or the Dot build, make sure you hit the enemy with whatever axe skill you're using to also apply a 25% debuff on top of what the It's Pitch is already doing, and you're going to kill the boss even faster. 3 points in Wrath to get more good damage, and 20% more after you pop axe skill, which is nice. 3 on Awakening to get more axe skill damage because this buffs rush stack effectiveness. 1 point in Remnant, which we've already went over. Then 1 point Avatar, so we can pop axe skill twice for cooldown, which is not only going to let you ad clear more, but if you mess up a damage phase, you have another chance to get another phase cast out or apply another dot to an enemy. Now, I also have 1 point from Restless Hat, 1 left over. This is just giving it 21% more charge speed, which does help out with something like the Plasma Coil, since this is a charge-based weapon, since it is a Maliwan weapon. So this can just kind of negate the downtime that the Plasma Coil has, and the negative side of how OP it is kind of getting thrown away. You can just instant cast the thing, kill everything. Now, Fist of Elements, I have 5 in Anima. This can get buffed to 10 with if you have the right class mod, which I'm obviously going to include in this build. And this is the reason I was saying you don't really need to have Muse, because this is going to give you 200% more stats effect generation, 40% more damage, and 80% based on whatever actual element you're running. So if you have Unleash the Dragon and Incendiary equipped, you're going to be buffing that dot damage even more. So running something like the Phase Zerker is completely fine if you don't have a Muse or Breaker class mod. Now, 3 instead of hands to get more handling and accuracy, which is nice. 1 Illuminated Fist, so we can buff our melee damage for 75%. This is going to work really, really well with our dot focus build. Plus, this is also going to make our melee do whatever actual element is. 5 in Tempest to get even more elemental damage, which is nice. 1 in Dread to get 15% more damage whenever we face grasp an enemy. Then, when we kill an enemy, we're also going to reload our gun. So this pair with the Lacquer, you're pretty much going to have constant uptime with Ad Clear, and you're just going to be able to destroy everything. But to help out with Ad Clear even more, we're going to get Indiscriminate, so all your bullets can ricochet now and just kill things that your Phase Grass hasn't already killed. 1 point Deep Ball to get even more magazine size for our elemental weapons, which is nice. 1 point Catharsis, so whenever we kill an enemy with whatever element they have on them, they're going to explode and do a ton of damage, because it does get Mayhem scaling, which is further going to increase the Ad Clear of this build, and you're going to be able to take out whole rooms with 1 Phase Grasp. Now, in Brawl, we have 3 points of personal space to increase your damage based on how close you are to an enemy. This is good. You're pretty much always going to have this proc. You might not have the max amount proc, but you're pretty much always going to have some amount of increased damage, which is nice. 2 in Clarity, which is doing nothing with a Remnant base build, but if you're ever running the Unleash the Dragon base build, you are going to have that 2% missed health generation, so look out for that. It might come in clutch every once in a while. But Helping Hands, 40% damage reduction. This is going to be your main form of damage reduction for this build. This plus Snowdrift with the movement speed, you're going to be able to tank a lot of stuff, even though this is a glass cannon style build. You have 40% damage reduction, which is nothing to be slept on. 1 in Fighting Center, so we get 100% more melee damage and 75% more melee range whenever you use your action skill. This is going to pair really well with Illuminated Fist. You're going to be able to actually kill enemies with your melee, especially if you run Unleash the Dragon applying that dot. And this can, be very, very good as well for the Unleash the Dragon build, specifically because you're going to increase that melee dot damage as well. Now, in Enlightened Force, we have 5 points in heavy rain to get more projectile speed and splash damage. This is going to work really, really well for the Plasma Coil. This skill was pretty much just made for the Plasma Coil, essentially, and it's also going to give you access to Cryo. So again, if you ever need to swap out to whatever element you want to, you have access to all 4 for that Remnant Orb, and you're going to get additional benefits for your Plasma Coil just to get insta kill things faster than you already were. So again, as a recap, Phase Grass plus Plasma Coil and Stillness of Bond, Indiscriminate, all the things we already know about. It's going to insta kill pretty much every single room you go into. You have Snowdrift to move faster, EMP5 to move faster. If you're trying to speed run to farm a little faster, come across a tanky enemy, you have ZSS supply debuff. For bossing, you have the Revolter plus Phase Zerker Guardian Angel combo with the Remnant Orb, and you also have the Unleash the Dragon Stinger Guardian Angel combo where you apply a dot to an enemy. Again, the Unleash the Dragon is going to be better for flesh targets. It can work on things that are not flesh targets, but it is better for that. And then Remnant Orb is going to be better for whatever has a specific health bar, because the Remnant Orb you can swap between all elements because it's based on whatever your actual element is. That is essentially it for this build. It is insanely good. Again, I hope I explained this well enough for you guys, because I know this is what you've all been waiting for. And also, again, this save file is going to be my Discord channel. If you'd like to download, the link for Discord is in the description. If you just want to download and get some of the gear, you can. Or if you want to download and try the whole build out yourself, you can. Either way, let me know what you guys think of it. Again, if you have questions, let me know in the comments. I will try to answer every single one of them. And I hope you guys enjoy this build, because it is very, very fun. This should help you out with the upcoming True Trials events. Should help you out clearing the cartel faster than you probably already could. Or if you want to do takedowns with it or farm the current raid boss you already have in the game, you can definitely do that as well. It can pretty much cover everything in the game, and it is a very, very fun build to run. But that's going to do it all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.